CBS4 studios. This is CBS4 at 5:30.
There will be tighter security and more restrictions at U.S. airports after Friday's massacre in Florida. Good evening, everyone. I'm Shelton Dodson.
And I'm Patricia Myas. CBS4 at 5:30's Lachey Wesley spoke with a UTEP security expert, and she joins us live to show us what people can expect to see.
Investigators say the suspect had a gun and ammunition stored in his checked bag, which is legal. But the UTEP professor I spoke with says this is something that could possibly change very soon. People at the El Paso International Airport tell me they've noticed additional security, even 3 days after the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood Airport shooting.
Most of the time I travel weekly on the weekends, and I travel due for work.
Angelica Quinones tells me she'd like to see more security, especially in areas before the security checkpoint.
Walking fast, and I feel that they should put more security out, out in the parking lots or out in the pickup areas.
Dr. Stephen Coulthard says this is likely to happen. He's an assistant professor of security studies at UTEP. Coulthard tells me it's also likely the TSA could change its rules about guns and carry-on luggage.
In the longer term, there may be a policy discussion about whether or not individuals can check firearms and bags along with the ammunition.
People at the airport today expect something like this to happen too.
I wouldn't be surprised if in the long term there's some new legislation or new TSA rules about checking firearms.
But others don't think that would solve anything.
As a hunter, I've never had the privilege of flying to do that hobby, but you certainly wonder what regulations that's going to put on those of us who are law-abiding citizens who would never perpetrate acts like what happened in Fort Lauderdale on Friday.
Coulthard tells me additional restrictions could mean longer wait times for travelers.
There's a trade-off between having more security, so for example having the perimeter secured, in people's wait times, the inconvenience that it imposes on the traveling public, that of course has to be weighed.
Coulthard says airports in Israel have some of the tightest protocols. Airports there have security checkpoints right at the door. Reporting live, Lachey Wesley, CBS4 at 5:30.
The Iraq War veteran accused of last week's shooting rampage at the Fort Lauderdale airport made his first court appearance today. Wearing shackles and a red jumpsuit, Esteban Santiago told the judge he understands the charges against him. Santiago is accused of killing 5 people and wounding 6 others. Last November, he had walked into the FBI office in Alaska and told agents there that U.S. intelligence was controlling his mind. The agents then took away his licensed gun for a month, but then they returned it. It is the same gun that was used in the massacre. Legal experts say Santiago's competency will be central in the argument for or against the death penalty if he is convicted.
Because if he is not competent to assist in his defense, they can't even have a trial for him. He can't stand trial if he's found to be mentally incompetent.
Santiago will be back in court for a bond hearing next week.
It has been a dark day for law enforcement in Orlando. An officer and a deputy are both dead and a suspect is on the loose. Florida police launched a massive manhunt for suspect Markeith Lloyd. It all began with a shooting outside a Walmart. Police say after the suspect shot and killed Master Sergeant Deborah Clayton, sheriff's deputy spotted Lloyd escaping in the officer's vehicle. While searching for Lloyd, a deputy was killed in a motorcycle crash.
The best thing that he can do at this time is turn himself in. We would love to be able to resolve this situation peacefully.
Officers say Lloyd is also a suspect in the murder of his pregnant ex-girlfriend last month. They consider him armed and dangerous. A line of officers saluted as Clayton's body was removed on a flag-covered stretcher. The officer was a married mother of 2. And in brighter news, spring-like temperatures for the borderland this January. Let's get a live look around the area. Look at that. It's 5:34 and still 67 degrees. Winds calm, if anything, just a slight little breeze. 64 at Community College and 68 at Rudolph Cars. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening across the country. That cold air has receded a little bit. We sit nice and warm and toasty under high pressure in the southwest right now, way above average. 70 degrees at the airport. 62 in Las Cruces. Winds are calm. Just some cloud cover right now. Did we reach record temperatures today? I'll talk more about that coming up in your full forecast.
A former commanding general at Fort Bliss is laid to rest today. Retired Major General John Oblinger was buried this afternoon at Fort Bliss National Cemetery. Oblinger led Fort Bliss from 1979 through 1982. During his 32-year career, he held several command positions and served in Vietnam. He retired here in El Paso before finally moving to Colorado a couple of years ago so he could be closer to his family. Oblinger died 2 weeks ago from a heart condition and Alzheimer's.
Some students at Fabens High School say they are in shock over the arrest of a science teacher. Kenneth Evans is accused of having an improper relationship with a student. CBS4 obtained the complaint affidavit from the El Paso County Sheriff's Office this afternoon. It shows the alleged incident happened back in December of 2015. Documents show a 16-year-old student complained about being sexually abused by Evans, which then led to an investigation. Now, in addition to being a science teacher, Evans was also a wrestling coach at Fabens High School. Deputies arrested him at his East El Paso home Friday. Students at Fabens say the teacher's arrest was a hot topic at school today.
A lot of people are talking about it in the hallways after class, before school, after school.
I liked him as a teacher. My first thought was, where is he, because he disappeared. He's been gone for the past days. And
the school superintendent tells CBS4 that Evans is on paid administrative leave pending the investigation. And a man is dead after crashing his car into a ditch in Anthony, New Mexico. The crash happened yesterday at around 4:30 p.m. at the intersection of Borderland and Gato Road. Doña Ana County Sheriff's deputies say 60-year-old Jose Ruiz was killed at the scene. His body was taken to Albuquerque for autopsy. The cause of the crash is still unknown. And just ahead, the best of the best. How some new UTEP students are being honored for the hard work they put in high school.
Creeping closer, where New Mexico State now ranks in the latest college basketball polls.
And planning ahead. The one thing CBP is asking El Pasoans to do before they travel back to the U.S. through any port of entry. That's next on CBS4 at 5:30.
Officers issue nearly $7,000 in fines within the past 5 days alone to people who are illegally bringing food into the U.S. from Mexico. Officers say there have been 31 cases just since January 4th. This is just a sample of the food and agricultural products which have been seized. These items are not allowed in because they can be carrying with them plant pests or animal diseases. CBP suggests checking their website before you travel to see which items are indeed safe to bring back into the United States.
The El Paso Diocese is showing its support to people, the immigrant and refugee community. The diocese announced today that they will be holding an event to pray for the undocumented immigrants and refugees here in the borderland who may be deported under the Trump administration.
We want to show them that they don't need to be alone in that fear, that we will be with them, we will be speaking in their name, we'll be happy to. We'll also do what we can to make sure that they have an opportunity to be heard.
The El Paso Diocese is encouraging everyone to show their support at their interfaith community gathering on Thursday. It will be at St. Patrick's Cathedral, which will be held at 6:30 p.m.
Some Borderland students are being recognized for their academic excellence. Today, UTEP hosted a reception to celebrate 54 of the top early college high school students in the Borderland. They will receive scholarships from the Greater Texas Foundation. Now, all of these students have already earned associate degrees before even completing their high school diplomas. So now they will get financial support through their junior and senior years of college in addition to other benefits.
This scholarship that they are receiving today is going to provide some financial support, some academic support, and really some social engagement type of support to continue to help the students moving forward towards progression and completion of the bachelor's degree here at UTEP.
As part of the scholarship, students will be able to participate in workshops, community service, and even given opportunities to study abroad. Would you like to get an associate's degree before you get your high school diploma?
I know, that's incredible, right?
Bunch of smarty pants are smarter than we were. That's
amazing.
Sure. Up next, a heart of gold, the kind gesture from a 10-year-old boy towards his childhood friend, and the reason why it took 2 years to make it all happen. And it's lots of sunshine and warm temps even now at 541. Look at that, we're in the 70s in some parts of town. Did we hit a record today? I'm going to talk more about that next on CBS4 at 5:30.
Started off with a chilly morning across the borderland, but we've seen that big warm up with some clouds change around the corner, with rain eventually moving into the forecast later this week. The high for today, 72 degrees, not quite a record, but still way above average. Typically, we're in the mid to high 50s, and this very nice weather is going to continue for at least 2 to 3 more days. Right now, we're still in the 70s, short sleeve weather and even some shorts. 61 in Las Cruces, 60s everywhere else. Just really, really nice. We're sitting pretty under high pressure, which is also keeping things quiet and dry and comfortable. But look, just west of us, that's moisture. Some precipitation, storms west of us out in California, and eventually we're going to see some of that moisture. Right now things are quiet, but by Wednesday into Thursday you will begin to see some change. We're going to dip back down to more seasonal temps, if not below average, and then a chance for rain showers and winds. But for right now, that warm up is going to continue tomorrow, maybe even warmer than today, and the same next day, and a possibility to hit record temps again tomorrow and Wednesday again with that warm up for El Paso and Las Cruces. For tonight, also way above average. It's January. Your overnight's at 48, a little bit cloudy, but winds are calm. Just a mild evening on tap, slightly cooler in Las Cruces. We are at 42 degrees, cloudy conditions, winds out of the south-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour with some breezes there, but for the most part, it is going to be nice. Typically, we are in the 30s, and then in your next 48 hours, the warmth and the sunshine continues for the borderland. Look at those temps. Beautiful, right? It feels like spring. Maybe we're hitting it early. 71 on Tuesday, 70 on Wednesday. Your overnights also way above average, 45. Slightly cooler, but also above average in Las Cruces. We're at 67 degrees, 66 in Las Cruces, and 39 degrees. And let's take a look at your next 7 days, because here's the change that I was talking about. Thursday into Friday, we're starting out in the 70s, but Thursday to Friday, that big change as that moisture and that system pushes in some cooler air that will eventually bring us back down to more seasonal temps. Shelton.
Patty, thank you. Earlier in this newscast, we reported on the Fabens high school teacher arrested and charged with having an improper relationship with one of his students. However,